The cockpit door closed with a soft click. Captain Daniel Brooks didn't turn around. He sat still, hands resting on his knees, eyes fixed on the dark runway outside. Behind him, his daughter Ava slept, unaware that this flight would change their lives forever. Daniel was used to silence. He had learned it the hard way. When you're a black man in power, silence keeps you alive. Airplane a flight full of eyes as boarding began, whispers followed him like shadows. "That's the captain. Are you serious?" "I hope he knows what he's doing." Daniel greeted passengers calmly. No reaction, no expression. Inside, his heart counted every insult. Someone is watching closely in the cabin stood Naomi Carter, a black flight attendant. She noticed everything. The way senior white crew ignored Daniel. The way management avoided eye contact. The way passengers stared at his daughter. Something felt wrong, not just racist. Organized. Warning, first warning sign 10 minutes after takeoff, an internal alert blinked on Daniel's screen. Warning system access attempt, unauthorized. Daniel frowned. Someone was trying to access cockpit systems from inside the plane. He reset the alert, didn't report it. Yet. Pouting face the public humiliation, a passenger stood up suddenly. "I refuse to fly this plane," he shouted. "I want another pilot, now." Gasps filled the cabin. The airline supervisor on board stayed silent. Daniel stepped out calmly. "This flight will continue," he said. The man pointed at him. "You people shouldn't be flying planes." Phones came out. Naomi stepped forward instantly. "Sir, please return to your seat." The man sneered. "Shut up. You're just staff." Daniel raised a hand. "Naomi, it's fine." But Naomi saw his jaw tighten. She saw the pain he refused to show. "Girl, a child overhears too much." Ava tugged Daniel's sleeve. "Daddy, why do they hate us?" Daniel froze. He knelt slowly. "They don't hate us," he lied gently. "They're just afraid." Naomi watched from a distance and decided something in her heart. She would not abandon him. Police car light, the real threat begins back in the cockpit. Daniel checked the system logs. His blood ran cold. Someone had manually disabled a backup safety protocol. This wasn't racism anymore. This was sabotage. Daniel whispered to himself, "This isn't about me, this is about power." Brain final scene, cliffhanger, another message flashed on the screen. Private channel, encrypted text. "You should have stayed invisible, Captain." Daniel's hand tightened into a fist. He looked back at his sleeping daughter, and then at the sky ahead. This flight was no longer about landing safely. It was about survival trap. AT 35,000 feet, the seatbelt sign turned on. But this time, it wasn't turbulence, it was fear. Warning, the first fake emergency inside the cockpit. Alarms blinked briefly, then stopped. Daniel stared at the panel. "That shouldn't happen," he muttered. The system showed a false pressure fluctuation already reset. Someone knew how to trigger warnings without leaving a trace. Daniel reached for the internal phone. Before he could speak, the cabin erupted. A planned accusation, a middle-aged white woman screamed suddenly. "My oxygen mask dropped for no reason. This is dangerous." Another man stood up. "That black attendant was touching the panel near my seat." All eyes turned to Naomi. Daniel's chest tightened. Naomi raised both hands calmly. "I did not touch any control panel," she said firmly. The airline supervisor on board frowned. "We'll log this, Naomi." Emily, the senior white attendant, stepped forward. "I warned her earlier," Emily said softly. "She doesn't always follow protocol." A lie, clean, deadly. Girl, Ava disappears. Daniel checked the cabin camera. His heart stopped. Ava's seat was empty. He stood up instantly. "Where is my daughter?" he demanded. No answer. Passengers whispered. "She shouldn't even be here. This is unprofessional. This whole flight is a mess." Naomi didn't wait. She ran. Door locked. She found Ava crying near the rear lavatory. The door was locked from the outside. "Daddy!" Ava screamed. Naomi tried the handle. No response. Someone had locked a child inside at 35,000 feet. Naomi slammed the emergency unlock. The door opened. Ava fell into her arms. "They said Daddy would go to jail," Ava sobbed. Naomi felt rage burn in her chest. Black heart wafer in fire. Naomi carried Ava forward. Emily blocked her path. "You're not allowed to interfere," Emily hissed. Naomi looked her straight in the eyes. "Move," she said. Emily stepped back. For the first time, she was afraid. Studio, the captain breaks silence. Daniel pressed the intercom. "This is Captain Brooks speaking." His voice was calm but sharp. "There has been a deliberate attempt to create panic on board." The cabin went silent. "My daughter was locked inside a lavatory," he continued. "That is a criminal act." Eyes widened, phones recorded. Emily turned pale. Daniel connects the dots back in the cockpit. Daniel reviewed logs again. Unauthorized system alerts, false complaints. A locked door. This wasn't random. This was coordination, and only one group had access to all systems. Internal management, Daniel whispered. "They're trying to force an incident, so I disappear." Envelope with arrow, the message returns. The encrypted channel flashed again. Text: "Next time the alarm won't be fake." Daniel looked at the fuel readings, at the storm ahead, at his daughter holding Naomi's hand. This flight had become a message. A warning, the child who vanished mid-flight, the cockpit filled with a piercing alarm. Engine 2, failure confirmed. Daniel's hands moved on instinct. Throttle down. Checklist open, breath controlled. Outside the window, only black ocean. 35,000 feet above nothing. Warning, a real emergency. This is not a drill, Daniel said into the intercom, calm but cold. "We've lost one engine. The aircraft is stable. Remain seated." Passengers screamed anyway. Phones shook. Prayers whispered. And somewhere behind the cockpit, someone smiled. Eyes blame is redirected. Emily rushed to the cockpit. "Captain," she said loudly, "multiple passengers are saying Naomi was near the rear panel before the alarm." Daniel turned slowly. "Get out of my cockpit," he said. Emily froze. That had never happened before. Brain a pattern emerges. Daniel scanned the system logs. Engine data didn't match failure behavior. Fuel flow had been manually interrupted briefly, then restored. Just enough to trigger panic, just enough to create evidence. Daniel whispered, "They're rehearsing." Girl, Ava is taken. Again, Naomi sat with Ava, holding her hand. The plane shook. A man in an airline blazer approached with security. "For safety," he said calmly, "the child needs to be moved to the front cabin." Naomi stood. "I'm staying with her." The man shook his head. "Orders from management." Ava clung to Naomi. "No, Daddy said stay." The man leaned closer. "Miss Carter, step aside." The lights flickered. Naomi hesitated. Security reached forward, and in that moment, Ava was pulled away. The curtain closed. Naomi screamed. Locked out. Naomi ran to the cockpit door. "Captain." "They took her." Daniel's heart stopped. "What?" he demanded. Before he could move, the cockpit door locked automatically. An override he hadn't activated. Someone else had. Brain the trap tightens. A new message flashed on Daniel's encrypted screen. Text: "Land at our airport quietly or your daughter flies alone." Daniel stared at the screen. Rage tried to rise. He crushed it. Fear was what they wanted. "Airplane a dangerous choice," ATC crackled. "Captain Brooks requests status." Daniel answered calmly. "One engine failure, continuing to alternate." But his finger hovered over the manual control override. If he followed their orders, they'd own him forever. If he didn't, they'd hurt Ava. Blackheart Waffa refuses to break. Naomi confronted Emily in the galley. "You planned this," Naomi said. Emily smiled thinly. "You should have stayed invisible." Naomi stepped closer. "You don't understand loyalty," she said quietly, "and that's why you'll lose." Emily laughed. "People like us never lose." Naomi looked her straight in the eye. "People like you always underestimate us." Police car light final scene, cliffhanger. The plane began its descent. Daniel spoke into the intercom again. "This is Captain Brooks." His voice was steady, but his decision was made. "We will not be landing where requested." In the forward cabin, Ava looked up. In the galley, Emily's smile vanished. On Daniel's screen, one final message appeared. Text: "Then this becomes public." Daniel replied with 2 words. "So be it." Suspension without proof. The wheels slammed onto the runway. A hard landing, intentional. Daniel kept the aircraft straight as alarms finally went quiet. The cabin burst into nervous applause. But outside the cockpit windows, police lights, security vehicles, airport lockdown. This wasn't a rescue, it was a seizure. The plane is surrounded before the engines even powered down. Armed airport police rushed the stairs. A senior airline official boarded first. No greeting, no relief. "Captain Brooks," he said sharply, "you are relieved of command, effective immediately." Daniel stared at him. "On what authority?" "Corporate." That single word changed everything. Chains Naomi is taken at the rear of the cabin. Naomi felt hands grip her arms. "You are being detained for interference with flight operations," an officer said. "What?" she protested. "I saved a child." Emily stood nearby, calm, untouched. "Miss Carter ignored protocol repeatedly," Emily said smoothly. "She caused panic." Naomi looked around. Passengers avoided her eyes. Fear makes cowards quickly. As Naomi was pulled away, she shouted, "Captain, this is a setup." Daniel tried to reach her. Security blocked him. Girl Ava is separated. Officially, a woman from Child Services appeared. "For the child's safety," she said, "Ava Brooks will be taken into temporary care." Daniel exploded. "You will not take my daughter." The woman didn't flinch. "Your authority is suspended, sir." Ava screamed as she was carried away. "Daddy Naomi." The sound cut deeper than any blade. Receipt the fake charges in a small airport room. Daniel sat alone. No uniform now, no title. A document slid across the table. Reckless command, failure to follow corporate directives, endangering passengers' emotional instability. Daniel laughed once. A hollow sound. "You planned this before we landed." The official didn't deny it. Black heart Naomi breaks, but doesn't bend. In another room, Naomi sat handcuffed. Emily entered quietly. "You could have walked away," Emily said. "Instead, you chose him." Naomi lifted her head. "I chose what was right." Emily leaned in. "Right doesn't survive here," Naomi smiled faintly. "It always does," she said, "just not immediately." Emily's smile faltered. Envelope with arrow, the knife twists deeper. Daniel's phone buzzed, finally returned to him. A video message opened. Ava, crying, alone in a room. A voice off camera said, "Sign the resignation, public apology." Silence. Daniel's hands shook. They wanted his soul. A dangerous calm. Daniel closed his eyes. When he opened them, fear was gone, replaced by something colder. Resolve. He picked up the pen, then stopped. He slid the paper back. "No," he said quietly. The official frowned. "You're destroying yourself." Daniel met his eyes. "No," he replied. "I'm waking up." The black girl who chose loyalty over fear. Sirens wailed outside the terminal. Camera lights cut through the night like knives. Breaking news banners flashed across screens before anyone could stop them. Television. The story leaks crooked inside the holding room. Naomi watched a muted TV. A headline scrolled fast. "Unstable captain endangers flight, staff suspended." Her name followed. Her face. Her silence. A guard leaned in. "They're offering you a deal," he said. "Say you acted alone, walk free tonight." Naomi didn't blink. "And the child?" she asked. The guard looked away. Naomi exhaled slowly. "Then no," she said. Movie camera. The cameras find Daniel across the terminal. Daniel stepped into a storm of microphones. "Captain Brooks, did you defy corporate orders? Were you emotionally compromised?" Daniel raised a hand. The noise fell. "My daughter was taken from me," he said evenly, "and a crew member was framed." A reporter pushed closer. "Do you deny the engine failure was your fault?" Daniel met the lens. "I deny the lie," he said, "and tonight I will prove it." Receipt. The board tries to buy silence. In a glass office upstairs, two executives slid a folder across the table. "Resign," one said. "Public apology, lifetime settlement." Daniel didn't open it. "You're scared," he said, "because if the truth comes out, it doesn't stop with me." A phone buzzed on the desk. Ava's location ping. Daniel's jaw tightened. "You're using my child as leverage," he said quietly. The executive smiled thinly. "Business?" Blackheart. Naomi's choice goes public. Back and holding. A producer rushed in, breathless. "We have your consent form," she said. "One statement, live, you can clear your name." Naomi shook her head. "Clear the truth," she replied. "Not just my name." The producer hesitated. "They'll come after you." Naomi looked straight into the camera. "They already did." The red light turned on, studio live and unscripted. Naomi spoke calmly. "I was blamed because it was convenient," she said. "A child was locked away. Evidence was altered. I refused to look away." Phones across the terminal lit up. Comments flooded in. "Number where is Ava? Number justice. For Naomi, number inside job." Emily watched from a corridor, face draining of color. Daniel makes his move. Daniel slipped into a secure room, pulled a drive from his pocket. "Release this to every outlet," he told the producer. "System logs, door overrides, internal messages." The producer's eyes widened. "This implicates senior management." Daniel nodded. "And it's only part one." Police car light. Final scene. Cliffhanger. A message hit Daniel's phone. Unknown number. Text. "Stop now or the child disappears for good." At the same time, Naomi's feed cut to black. Emergency alerts blared through the terminal. Daniel clenched the phone. "No more running," he whispered sabotage in the cockpit. The airport control room went silent. Every screen showed the same thing. Another aircraft, same airline. Same route pattern, and the same warning light. "Police car light, a second plane in danger, engine parameters are drifting," a controller whispered. "That shouldn't be happening." Daniel leaned over the console. "Compare the logs," he said. A technician's hands shook as he pulled the data. Unauthorized access. Same digital fingerprint, same timing window. Daniel exhaled slowly. "This wasn't about my flight," he said. "It was a test run." The room understood instantly. If the second plane went down, everything would be blamed on system failure. "Brain, the pattern is clear." Daniel connected the dots fast. Fake alerts, locked cockpit and cabin doors, engine manipulation without physical damage, framing crew members to control the narrative. "This is remote sabotage," he said. "Someone inside corporate has access to flight control backdoors." A senior controller whispered, "That kind of access only exists at the highest level." Chains. Naomi makes her move in a quiet holding corridor. Naomi sat alone. A guard approached with paperwork. "Transfer," he said casually. Naomi noticed something wrong immediately. Wrong badge color, wrong shoes. She stood. "Show me your ID." The man reached for her arm. Naomi reacted instantly. She slammed the clipboard into his wrist, twisted free, and ran. Alarms screamed. Naomi disappeared into the service tunnels beneath the terminal. She wasn't running anymore. She was hunting the truth. Cloud. The storm hits the second plane outside. Lightning cracked the sky. The second aircraft hit turbulence. Real this time. Pilots fought the controls. "Autopilot is fighting us," one shouted. In the control room, Daniel watched data spike. "They've activated the override," he said. A controller turned to him. "You're not cleared," Daniel cut him off. "I built this system," he said coldly. "I know how to shut it down." The room froze. "Built it." Daniel's fingers flew across the console. Manual encryption keys, emergency architecture, old code, hidden code. Blackheart. Naomi finds proof in the tunnel. Naomi reached a locked server door. She remembered something Emily once bragged about. "Private systems room, no cameras." Naomi forced the door open. Screens glowed inside, live feeds. Control panels and a message queue. One name kept appearing. Project Clear Sky. Naomi snapped photos, downloaded files. Her phone buzzed. "Daniel," she answered breathlessly. "I found it," she said. "It's bigger than us." Stopwatch seconds from disaster. Back in the control room, the second plane dropped altitude suddenly. Passengers screamed over the open channel. Daniel finished typing. "Now," he whispered. He hit enter. The override shut down. The plane stabilized. Cheers erupted. But Daniel didn't smile, because he knew one thing: if they were willing to kill hundreds, they wouldn't stop now. Envelope with arrow. The final threat. Naomi's phone vibrated. A message appeared, sent to both her and Daniel. Text: "You stopped the crash, you didn't stop us. Meet us or the child pays." Daniel closed his eyes. They had escalated. So would he? The CEO's identity, LEAKS. The terminal screens flickered. Then every channel showed the same headline. "Breaking news. Internal sabotage suspected AT major airline." The words were still forming when the second line hit. "Source confirms. Captain Daniel Brooks is the airline's CEO." The airport exploded. Television. A reveal no one could stop. Cameras swung toward Daniel as if pulled by gravity. Reporters shouted over one another. "Mr. Brooks, is it true? Why were you flying undercover? Did the board know?" Daniel didn't run. He didn't deny. He stepped forward. "Yes," he said calmly. "I am the CEO." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "And I flew anonymously," he continued, "to see this company as my crews see it." Naomi watched from the shadows. Her chest tightened. So this was the truth he carried alone. Receipt. Project Clear Sky goes live. At the same moment, Naomi pressed upload. Files flooded the internet. System diagrams, backdoor access logs, message threads marked Project Clear Sky. A commentator's voice cracked on live TV. "This appears to be a covert program allowing remote manipulation of flight systems." Phones across the terminal buzzed nonstop. Executives upstairs stared at their screens in horror. Brain. The board panics in a glass conference room. Voices overlapped. "Shut it down. Deny everything. Find the source now." Emily stood frozen. Her name appeared in the leaked messages, not as the mastermind, as a pawn. "They promised protection," she whispered. No one listened because another name surfaced. A senior board member, then another. The room fell silent. Girl Ava speaks and breaks the lie. A producer's phone rang. Then another. Then a third. A small clip went live, Ava sitting alone holding her teddy bear. "They took me because Daddy didn't listen," she said softly. "They said planes would fall if he talked." The internet detonated. Number protect of a number clear sky exposed number CEO who flew Daniel closed his eyes. They'd crossed a line they couldn't uncross. Blackheart Naomi steps into the light. Naomi walked toward the cameras. No escort, no fear. "I uploaded the files," she said clearly, "and I stand by them." A reporter asked, "Why risk everything?" Naomi looked straight into the lens. "Because silence was the weapon," she replied, "and loyalty is how we disarm it." Daniel met her eyes. A silent promise passed between them. Police car light, the counterattack begins. Sirens wailed again, different this time. Federal vehicles, badges flashed. An officer approached Daniel. "Sir, you're required for questioning." Before Daniel could respond, his phone buzzed. A final message. Text, "You exposed us, now choose. Your company or your child." Daniel's face hardened. He looked at Naomi, at the cameras. At the Sky Airport lockdown and public exposure, the screens across the country went black. No signal, no sound, just a spinning icon where truth had been. Police car light lockdown, a cold voice echoed through the terminal. "Attention, this airport is now under security lockdown. Please remain where you are." Steel doors slammed shut. Shutters dropped. Flights froze mid-taxi. Panic spread like fire. Daniel lowered his microphone slowly. "They pulled the plug," he said, "which means we were right." Federal agents surrounded him, not aggressively but cautiously. "Sir," one whispered, "someone just disabled national broadcast relays. That level of access is unprecedented." Daniel nodded. "I know who can do that," he said. "And why?" Girl Ava's signal. Naomi's phone vibrated once. A GPS ping, weak, moving, inside the airport. "She's here," Naomi said. "They never meant to move her far." Daniel's heart slammed. "Where?" Naomi looked at the map. "Old service wing, below Terminal C, the place no one checked." Person female. The chase. Naomi ran, not away from danger, toward it. Security tried to stop her. She slipped through a staff-only gate and vanished into the underbelly of the airport. Concrete tunnels, flickering lights, echoing footsteps. Her phone buzzed again, a voice message. Ava whispering, "They said if Daddy talks, planes will fall." Naomi's jaw tightened. "Not today," she whispered back. Daniel's last card back upstairs. Daniel faced the agents. "I need 5 minutes of broadcast," he said, "unfiltered." One agent shook his head. "They'll crash the system again." Daniel leaned in. "Then give me local airport frequency," he said. "Every pilot listens to that." Silence. Then a nod. "Studio, the sky hears the truth." Daniel grabbed the emergency mic. "All aircraft, this is Daniel Brooks," he said, voice steady. "If you can hear me, record this." Pilots across the airspace leaned closer. "Project Clear Sky allows remote manipulation of flight systems," Daniel continued. "It was designed to control outcomes, financial, political, human." Controllers froze. "You are not malfunctioning," he said. "You are being overridden." Recorders clicked on. The truth escaped the blackout. Blackheart Naomi finds her in the tunnels. Naomi followed the sound of quiet crying. Ava sat behind a locked cage door, storage equipment stacked around her. A man in a blazer turned. "You're not supposed to be here," he said calmly. Naomi stepped forward. "You took the wrong child," she said, "and you underestimated the wrong woman." The man reached for his radio. Naomi slammed the door lever. The cage opened. Ava ran into her arms. Police car light, the final move upstairs. Alarms blared again, this time different. Federal channels lit up. "Unauthorized broadcast detected," a voice shouted. "Source traced to." The agent's phone buzzed. His face changed. "Sir," he said to Daniel, "we have warrants, multiple, senior leadership." Daniel exhaled. "It's over," he said. Airport lockdown and public exposure. The screens across the country went black. No signal, no sound, just a spinning icon where truth had been. Police car light lockdown, a cold voice echoed through the terminal. "Attention. This airport is now under security lockdown. Please remain where you are." Steel doors slammed shut. Shutters dropped. Flights froze mid-taxi. Panic spread like fire. Daniel lowered his microphone slowly. "They pulled the plug," he said, "which means we were right." Federal agents surrounded him, not aggressively but cautiously. "Sir," one whispered, "someone just disabled national broadcast relays. That level of access is unprecedented." Daniel nodded. "I know who can do that," he said. "And why?" Girl Ava's signal. Naomi's phone vibrated once. A GPS ping, weak, moving, inside the airport. "She's here," Naomi said. "They never meant to move her far." Daniel's heart slammed. Where? Naomi looked at the map. Old service wing. Below Terminal C, the place no one checked. Person female the chase Naomi ran, not away from danger, toward it. Security tried to stop her. She slipped through a staff-only gate and vanished into the underbelly of the airport. Concrete tunnels, flickering lights, echoing footsteps. Her phone buzzed again, a voice message. Ava whispering. They said if Daddy talks, planes will fall. Naomi's jaw tightened. Not today, she whispered back. Daniel's last card back upstairs, Daniel faced the agents. I need 5 minutes of broadcast, he said. Unfiltered, one agent shook his head. They'll crash the system again. Daniel leaned in. Then give me local airport frequency, he said. Every pilot listens to that. Silence, then a nod. Studio the Sky hears the truth. Daniel grabbed the emergency mic. All aircraft, this is Daniel Brooks, he said, voice steady. If you can hear me, record this. Pilots across the airspace leaned closer. Project Clear Sky allows remote manipulation of flight systems, Daniel continued. It was designed to control outcomes, financial, political, human. Controllers froze. You are not malfunctioning, he said. You are being overridden. Recorders clicked on. The truth escaped the blackout. Blackheart Naomi finds her in the tunnels. Naomi followed the sound of quiet crying. Ava sat behind a locked cage door, storage equipment stacked around her. A man in a blazer turned. You're not supposed to be here, he said calmly. Naomi stepped forward. You took the wrong child, she said, and you underestimated the wrong woman. The man reached for his radio. Naomi slammed the door lever. The cage opened. Ava ran into her arms. Police car light the final move upstairs. Alarms blared again, this time different. Federal channels lit up. Unauthorized broadcast detected, a voice shouted. Source traced to, the agent's phone buzzed. His face changed. Sir, he said to Daniel, we have warrants, multiple, senior leadership. Daniel exhaled. It's over, he said, power FALLS. Family rises. The courtroom was quiet. No shouting, no cameras allowed inside, just truth finally heavy enough to sit still. Balanced justice without noise. The judge read the verdict slowly. Guilty. On all counts, corporate sabotage, endangerment of lives, kidnapping, abuse of power. Names fell one by one, executives, board members, designers of Project Clear Sky. When the gavel struck, it didn't sound loud, it sounded final. Daniel closed his eyes. Years of silence ended in one breath. Girl, a daughter who is safe outside the courtroom. Ava ran into Daniel's arms. You're not flying sad anymore, she said softly. Daniel smiled. No, he replied. I'm flying honest. Naomi stood a few steps back, watching, not expecting anything. That was who she was. Blackheart, the reward Naomi never asked for. Weeks later, at the airport hangar, a small ceremony was held. No big stage, no fake applause. Daniel stood at the front. As CEO, he said, I can offer positions, money, power. He turned to Naomi. But today I'm speaking as a father. He paused. You saved my daughter when the world looked away. Daniel held out a badge, Director of Ethics and Flight Safety, independent, untouchable, permanent. Naomi didn't cry, she nodded once. I'll protect the skies, she said. For everyone. Airplane, a different kind of flight. Months later, early morning. Sunrise painted the runway gold. Daniel sat in the cockpit again, but this time Ava sat beside him. And Naomi stood just behind, coffee in hand. Where to today? Ava asked. Daniel looked at Naomi, she smiled. Anywhere, she said, as long as we land together. Sunrise, the final truth. The plane lifted smoothly into the sky. No secrets, no shadows, just trust, just family. Just truth flying where it always belonged. Power can control systems, but loyalty saves lives.